When I tell you guys this message was such a vile message, it did shake me. Yeah, it shook me. I'm not gonna lie, and what's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Chit Chats with Chez. These are the types of videos where we have a chat about what's bothering you, what are you dealing with in your everyday life. I've done one of these before, so this is number 2, and today we're going to talk about how to deal with negative messages. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because I've been watching some YouTube videos recently, and what I've noticed that is not a lot of YouTubers, the ones that I've come across, they've kind of felt the need to justify their content, and I'm wondering why. Basically, some YouTubers have felt the need to make an apology video, not necessarily an apology video, basically to address the negative backlash that they've received for videos that they have put out before, and they've received negative malicious comments, and obviously that's affected them because they wouldn't then feel the need to come and not justify but do a follow-up video, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily agree with having to do that, because if you're a YouTube consumer, if you watch videos, you're not gonna like everything that you see, you're not gonna agree with everything that you see, but does that warrant you leaving a malicious, horrible comment to the point where the YouTuber now has to come and address that? In my humble opinion, if you have so much negativity in you, if you've got that much energy to come and slag off the content that you've seen, you got 2 choices. Either click the X in the corner of your screen and leave the video and watch something else, or start your own YouTube channel and express your views and opinions. Because what does that do for you to muster up all that energy to just type your vitriol about a video? I'm guessing that says more about you as the commentator more than the actual YouTuber who's taken time, effort and resources to actually put the content out in the first place. So that's one thing to consider. Now, in the wider context of the negative messages, I want to focus today on emails, WhatsApps and texts, because that's what we deal with on a daily basis. Not everyone's a YouTuber, not everyone watches YouTube. So more widely related are those other types of media which I've just mentioned. So if you're someone who's struggling with dealing with the aftermath of reading a negative message, I've got 4 tips that I use that I'm hoping that can help you today. Hopefully this video won't take long, but I'm going to expand on each point and give you a few examples just to demonstrate and make it clear what I mean. Let's get into this video, how to deal with negative messages. Tip number 1, don't read any messages first thing in the morning. Okay, this one is, we all do this, don't we? I'm guilty of this, but I'm trying to get better. In fact, I am better. So what do? The phone has become like an extra limb to many of us. And I can make a good comparison because I grew up in a time when there was no internet, no social media, none of these mobile phones in the form that we know them in today. When mobile phones came in, the first generation mobile phones came in around the 80s. If I find a picture, I'll put it up. But basically, they were brick, the size of a brick, literally, and you had to carry it around with like a portable. What do I call it? I don't know whether it was a charger. I think it was a charger, but it was just like the size of a small briefcase. And I think the calls were £18 a minute. We've come a long way since then. That sort of device you could not sleep with by your bed, but the ones that we have today, you can. And it's become so much a part of us. We actually have our life in our phone now. It's not just a device where you can make and receive calls. People run their businesses from their phones. It's become a diary, calendar. It's become a photo album. It's become a video recorder. You know, everything packed into this one little device, which we can't do without. And you know, over the years, it's evident that this has played with our mental health so much, to the point where people are literally addicted to their phone. It's obviously difficult to not reach for your phone as soon as it buzzes or beeps first thing in the morning to wake you up. I mean, I've got an alarm clock on my phone, but I hardly ever use it because I have an established sleep pattern. A lot of people don't, so they need that alarm clock. My first bit of advice to you with regard to not looking at your phone first thing in the morning is to get a different alarm clock. You know, the ones I think they sell them in the pound shop or the dollar store if you're from the US. Just a normal analog clock with the alarm that rings. Get one of those. That means you don't have to reach for your phone. When you wake up, the first thing you should really do is try and start your day off in a positive mindset. How do you do that? Various ways. You can either begin your day with uplifting music, or listen to a podcast, or just take the moment to sit in silence and express gratitude for the fact that you've even been given the privilege of seeing a brand new day, because many people don't get that privilege. Just express gratitude either through prayer or meditation. That is going to put your mind in such a calm state, and that level of stress and anxiety will come down and down and down and down very, very quickly. Another strategy that I use is to get active. So I hardly ever have a lie-in anymore. So what I do is either do a 15-minute workout or go for a run or leisurely walk in the park. So Monday, Wednesday and Friday I do a 15-minute workout, and that helps me to basically get my day started, get the blood pumping, get my endorphins released and my serotonin levels increased. As I say, I the days that I'm not doing the workouts, I go to the park, and just to be in nature, just to have the fresh air in your lungs. I'm telling you guys, when you start your day off on the right note, it will determine how the rest of your day is going to go. If you don't believe me, take a minute to think about the days when you wake up and you're going into work and you're in a bad mood. Have you ever considered it could be because the first thing that you looked at was your phone and you saw a negative message? I get the fact that it's not practical for everyone to do that, but maybe just get up earlier and try and incorporate some activity before you leave the house. That's a good idea. There's nothing to stop you from doing that. When I say that negative messages will put you in a negative mood if you don't discipline yourself to do the opposite, I'll give you an example. I've got one friend who she's at an age now where all her friends are getting engaged, getting married, or having children, or you know, they're announcing their pregnancies, they're announcing all these things on Facebook, and she's an avid Facebook user. I don't use Facebook like that anymore because for me it's too much of a toxic environment, but she loves Facebook. First thing she does when she wakes up is to check her Facebook notifications, and I've said to her, that's not a good idea for you to do that. And invariably, you know, there'll be an announcement that one of her friends has got engaged or one of her friends has had a baby. It's just, yeah. She does that to herself because no one's forcing her to do it. And when I've said to her, when I've asked her, why do you do that? Every time the answer is, I can't help it. You can help it though, you can. No one's forcing you to open these notifications. And I think it's this thing called fear of FOMO, fear of missing out. You know, as I'm getting older, I'm learning all these phrases over the last few years. These things never existed when I was growing up. So I'm learning all the time. Even at my old age, I'm learning every single day. And it's just fascinating to see how people find it difficult to break a habit, to start a new one. I mean, they say it takes 21 days to have a new habit. That's how long it takes to form. So my advice, guys, is if you want to start your day off right, use the strategies that I've just given you. Don't look at your phone first thing in the morning. Get into a state of silence, meditation, prayer, gratitude, just to be grateful for the day ahead, and get active, because that's going to help your physiology. That's going to benefit your physiology in so many ways, and that's going to set you up for the day. That takes me on to point number 2. When you get around to reading the message, read it, take the information in, close the message and walk away. We as human beings have a tendency to be very reactionary. We're very impulsive and we have knee-jerk reactions to situations. We don't actually give ourselves the time to digest information and process information. The reason why it's a good idea to take a step back is because it will help you to use your emotional intelligence. It will help you to decipher the message. Because believe it or not, every message that comes through via email, via text, via WhatsApp, it's not as straightforward as you think. Don't take these things at face value. The things that you need to consider when you're actually looking at these messages is, who has the message come from? What time was the message sent? What's your relationship to that person? And the contents of the message. I'll give you another example. As I previously stated, I'm not an active Facebook user anymore, and I don't even have Messenger on my phone. I just don't. I don't want it. I don't want that intrusion in my day. When I do go onto Facebook, it's just to say happy birthday to people, and just to see, you know, any updates. I might go in there like maybe once a month or so, if that. So a few months ago, I logged onto Facebook, opened my laptop, logged onto Facebook and saw notifications that I'd seen. I had messages in my inbox. Thought, okay, who's sending me messages? Because people don't really see me on Facebook anymore. And it so happened to be one guy that I've known for quite a long time. Known him since before I was a teenager, but we don't interact. He's a bit older than me, and we don't interact. I mean, he's seen me at functions, he doesn't say anything, and he, you know, says X, Y, Z behind my back. Cool, I don't care. That's your business. This guy sent me a message. Right, it was a Wednesday when I opened my laptop and saw this. The message came in on the Sunday, so it was Sunday night / Monday morning, about 1:30. When I seen the name, I was immediately suspicious. I was like, okay, why is this guy sending me a message? We don't talk. This is the first time he's ever communicated with me in that way. I was like, okay, what's this about? I saw the timing of the message, around 1:30 in the morning, Sunday night, Monday morning. Like, okay, that's strange. The message was that he wanted me to contact him. He wanted me to call him, and he gave me his phone number. And I was like, what? What is that? What is that? I knew eventually that I was not going to entertain nonsense, so I left it. Because I thought, if it's urgent, this guy will reach out to me again, because for the life of me, I don't know why you're sending me a message, especially on Facebook. It's like, is that what we're doing now? You can't communicate in a traditional way. Like, I'm not on Facebook like that. I'm not on Facebook like that. Anyway, needless to say, he didn't send me another message because he didn't get a response from me, and I obviously knew it wasn't urgent. That's why I say take a step back to process what's been sent to you, who it's come from, the time, and what the contents of the message are, because not every message needs a response. However, I segue into number 3. If you are going to respond, consider how you are going to respond based on what I've just talked about in point number 2. So you've got a couple of ways you can respond: indirectly and directly. Indirectly, if you receive a message, a negative message, but you're not one for confrontation, you avoid confrontation like the plague, and I don't blame you. I don't like confrontation, but I'm ready for confrontation if it comes to my door. So if you're not one for confrontation, my advice to you is to write your message, put everything, put your heart and soul into that message, but don't send it. I've done this. So someone sent me a message a few years ago, again negative, and it was so hurtful, and the circumstances surrounding that message, it took me a long time to get over that. And I wanted to tell this person so much what I thought of them. And I thought, as much as I want to tell you what I think of you, you're not going to hear it from my mouth. I'm going to write it all down. So I opened my laptop, opened a Word document, and started typing and typing and typing and typing and typing. Got all my feelings out, but I never sent the message. When I tell you guys, it was so cathartic, so therapeutic, to the point where if I see this person now, I am fine. I'm like, you're right? Yeah? Cool. How's everything? How are you? Fine. And I move on. I don't think if I hadn't written everything down, I don't think I'd feel like that. But it was so liberating to actually get everything down out of my system and not have to send that. The person doesn't know what was in my head. I've forgotten about it. I've moved on with my life. This was a few years ago. That's one way to respond, indirectly. The direct way now, when you're considering a direct response, do not respond in the same way that the message was sent to you. So if you received a negative message, don't respond negatively. And what I like to do is adopt the 3 C's in this scenario. That's concise, clear, and classy. Be very concise in your response. Answer their query or address what they've said to you in the message in a concise manner, in a clear manner, so that there's no room for misinterpretation, but do it in such a way that they have to be embarrassed now that they sent you that type of message in the first place. Be very dignified, be very classy about it. Be positive about it, in fact. There was, I'll give you another example. So a family member of mine received a WhatsApp message from someone she grew up with. A family member of mine received a WhatsApp message around the beginning of the year, and it was from a so-called friend. I was shown this message, and another family member advised my original family member not to respond, but in this case I said, no, send a response, and I guarantee you're not going to hear from this person for quite a while. I was asked to formulate a response, and it was very clear, concise, and classy, if I do say so myself. The response was to the effect of, thanks for your message, everything's fine, hope you're well. Just very short, very, very clear. And as I predicted, no acknowledgement, no message came back, and that situation was shut down. When we're talking about responding, you don't need to fight fire with fire. If neither of those work for you, there's another solution. Silence, because silence is a response. Silence is golden. Number 4, don't respond at all. I did touch on this earlier with one of my other examples, but here's one which is a bit extreme, an example which is a bit extreme. Yeah, silence is golden, like this sun. The light keeps changing, so I do apologize. But anyway, yeah, silence is golden. So a friend and I set up this company website and had our bios on there. He has someone from his past who's always wants to know what he's up to. So she's Googled him, found this website, seen my picture on there, my bio on there. With all her energy, she's decided that she's going to email me, because you know my email address was published on this website. She doesn't know me. We've never had a conversation. She doesn't know she doesn't know me. I don't know her. I only know of her. Along with my email address, I don't know how she got my phone number, but the same message that she sent to me in an email, she's now decided that she's going to WhatsApp me and send me a text. When I tell you guys, this message was such a vile message. It did shake me. Yeah, it shook me. I'm not gonna lie, and I had already decided I was not going to respond to that at all, because I'm not someone who I try not to argue. If push comes to shove and you want an argument, we'll have an argument. But when I know that it's not necessary, I will make myself look like an idiot so that there's no argument. Anyhow, this woman decides she's going to send me this message, and I told my friend, and he said that the next time he sees her, he's going to say something. And I said, don't do that. And he was like, why not? I said, well, just leave it. Just don't say anything. So the next time he saw her, he did what I asked. He didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. I think she was expecting a confrontation. But when I tell you guys, I have never heard from this woman again. That was the very first and last time she ever sent me a message of any kind, because she doesn't know whether I received that communication, and she's not gonna risk rocking the boat anymore because she doesn't want to look stupid. She has judged me by her own standards. She's underestimated me. When I say judge me by her own standards, I would imagine that because this person, this woman, loves to argue, she thought I'd be the same, for obvious reasons. You know, I guess notoriously black women are known for arguing. Let me just say that. So she's obviously put me in that category. She's pigeonholed me because she wants a confrontation. I was not going to entertain that. I squashed it because it doesn't need to happen. I look at negative messages like a campfire. Once you starve that fire of oxygen or fuel, it's out. It's gone, it's finished, it's done. And that's how you need to look at negative messages. So with that said, guys, we're looking at those informal messages, those interactions which you have with acquaintances or people in your life. When we're talking about business messages or you know, anything to do with professional communication, let's go back to the YouTube space. When we're talking about YouTube have implemented functionality on their platform, so you can either shut the comments down, hide comments, or block and delete, or you don't even, you know, some YouTubers decide not to look at those messages at all, which is fine. When we're talking about corporate now, the silence approach doesn't always work. It's not always practical. In fact, it isn't practical because you have to exercise a high degree of professionalism. The way to respond to those types of messages, I'm going to give you another example, guys. So the same friend who we were working together, this is a few months later now, and there was a company based in Northern Europe who asked us to undertake a project for them. And in asking us to do that, you know, everything was going along smoothly. We were given our brief and we were about to start working on the project. We get an email one day. And the email was basically offering us a substantial amount of money. I'm not even going to tell you the figure, guys, because you're not going to believe me. When I saw that communication, I immediately said, I don't know what this is about, but we cannot accept this. My friend was in agreement because we're of a similar mindset, and we decided that we were not going to accept this offer. So the response was to politely decline, making it very clear that, you know, we're not in a position to accept it because the project hasn't yet been completed. And we just finished off with, you know, maybe we can review this situation once again after the project has been completed. And there was no bad feeling or anything, there was no animosity. They respected us even more because they realised that we're not motivated by greed. You know, we operate on a level of integrity. That's how we run our business. So it transpires a few months later that this company is notorious for manipulation. Anything that they want, they throw money at it, and they thought they could do that with us. So by dangling this carrot in front of us, they thought that they could control and manipulate us for future projects, and things that they wanted us to do which were unorthodox, shall we say. In conclusion, when we're talking about dealing with negative messages, just take your time to consider what you're going to do. Don't answer a message straight away. Don't read a message first thing in the morning. This is going to help you navigate your way through your day and ultimately contribute to a positive mental state, because although in the grand scheme of things this is relatively small, life is hard enough as it is, and there's so much crap going on in the world already. With the time that you have left, wouldn't you want to live a quality life? And that means dealing with small issues like this, which when they affect your mental state, you then start to take it out on your family, your friends, your colleagues, and you're just in a low state all the time. Who wants that? Who wants that? So those are my strategies for dealing with negative messages, guys, and the whole purpose of my channel is to enhance, enrich and elevate aspects of life, and I hope I've done that for you today. I hope you can take away positives from this and maybe implement them in your daily routines. If you have any other strategies for dealing with negative messages, comment below. What do you guys do? Let's share. Let's help each other. Maybe there's things that you do that I've not covered and I could use them. So it'd be good for you to comment. In the meantime, guys, I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for watching this video. You know what to do. LSN, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Have a great week or weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.